Tonight on the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror, Virginia is having a birthday party. And you're all invited. I sure hope you can come, because I hear it's gonna be killer. Melissa Sue Anderson and Glenn Ford star in Happy Birthday to Me.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. Nightmare Baby Circus. Episode number 2. Yes, number 2 on this joyous ride through the nightmares of horror cinema. And after last night's wonderful, though flawed, superhero movie gone wrong, Brightburn, I thought, you know what? It is time, only 2 episodes in, but still it's time to go to one of my favorite, if not the favorite, decade in all of horror, and that is the 1980s, oh yes, and watching a wonderful little slasher film that I picked up on Blu-ray, and that movie is called Happy Birthday to Me. Happy Birthday to Me. And look at this great DVD. It is like old VHS container. Anyways, I love it. Anyway, so what is Happy Birthday to Me about? Well, it is about a girl named Virginia and her group of friends who go to this prestigious academy, and, well, all of a sudden, her friends start disappearing one by one. And by disappearing, I mean getting murdered. Anyways, as the plot continues to go on, the friends start to get a little bit worried and suspicious, and Virginia is starting to get flashbacks of memories because she was in a horrible auto accident and had to have experimental brain surgery. And so all of a sudden her memories start coming back, and she starts to wonder if she may be responsible for these multiple disappearances. And of course, in true 80s fashion, a bunch of red herrings are established also within this movie, and we get toward the end a very ridiculous and somewhat convoluted plot twist, but altogether makes it a little bit more interesting in the end. So let's get to those scores, shall we? Violence and gore, I am going to give it a 3 out of 5. The violence is pretty quick and not necessarily super hard-hitting. However, there is quite a bit of blood, and some of the kills are definitely pretty neat and creative. And I have to give credit to them for the creativity for the kills. Honestly, it says right here on the package, 6 of the most bizarre murders you will ever see. Yeah, maybe, but still very interesting how things go through this film. And so, 3 out of 5. Yes, it could have had a bit more, but I still think a very decent, above average amount. Moving on to shock value, I am going to give this a 2 out of 5. Look, there isn't a lot of shocks going on in this movie outside of the really twistical ending going on and a jump scare here and there. But for the most part, not much. Below average. Nothing to really, get you in a bit of unease. So, yeah, they don't do too great of a job ramping up the tension in this one, which is a shame because there is a little bit of an interesting atmosphere there. But anyways, 2 out of 5. Going on to plot, I am going to give this a 3 out of 5. It's the strength of this is the misdirection that goes on with the red herrings and the ideas, and you think it's going to go some way, and it ends up going a different way. However, in the end, the ending is kind of convoluted and a little bit off, not really set up too well as opposed when you think of the actual murder character motivation. You only see little snippets, I mean very thin snippets of it. Nothing to even make you have a little bit of a question. However, overall, the plot moves well. It does a decent job of establishing the characters and the whole mystery behind her and her memories and what was happening on. And the whole birthday theme ends up becoming there. Except there is kind of a large plot hole. But that's at the end, and it's basically how did the killer know certain instances of things happening without actually being there when those things happen. That being said, whatever, I still enjoyed it and think it's a bit more solid than your average fare. So 3 out of 5. Acting, we're going to give it a 3 out of 5. Honestly, the performances by most people are all right. They're great. There's some strong acting performances, like the dean of the school, the psychiatrist, doctor personality that Virginia talks to. I think his name's Dave. Does a pretty good job. Some of the friends are a little with their acting, so it kind of balances themselves out. Some strong performances and some so-so performances. Virginia's performance, I say, is pretty in line for a horror movie at this time. So I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. Moving on to Nudity, and this is where the film fails its 80s checklist, because it almost has everything that a good 80s movie should have. You know, slasher, check. Body count and creative kills, check. Weird, twisty plot lines with many red herrings, check. Quintessential 80s music score, check. A lot of inane, vacuous characters, check. And yet, no nudity, even though there is a shower scene. But, there's not only a shower scene, but also an undressing scene. And, yeah, whatever. That's how it goes, whatever. 0 out of 5. You could have scored some bonus points, and you probably needed it. Anyways, moving on to enjoyment factor, I'm giving this a 3 out of 5. It is a standard movie with enough extra oomph into it, even though without the, a lot more graphic violence and nudity, but still enough oomph to give it to be above average. And, 3 out of 5. I did enjoy this. I think it was interesting. It didn't drag in any spots. And though I'm like, I can kind of see where this is going, the ending does pull the rug out from under you, and yet it's still kind of like, really? This is this is a little much. Anyways, but overall, still very enjoyable. Above average, 3 out of 5. My overall impression of this film, though, is that it is a 2.5 out of 5. Its elements are very standard. And yes, there are some creative kills, and the plot twists and the misdirection are nice to have, but in the end, it's also a little overblown and nonsensical, but horror movies. But honestly, even though I like the film, it does feel pretty average when I think about what's going on within the film itself. So there you have it, 2.5 out of 5, and that averages out to a 2.4 out of 5. Happy birthday to me. It is considered kind of a classic, and I do enjoy it, but like I said, it definitely has its weaknesses, and it could have been a bit more ballsy, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, but there you have it. Happy birthday to me. What did you think? Have you seen it? Leave a comment in the comment section. Thumbs up. I don't even go through the hoops or the the effort anymore. But, thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell, comment, share, all that good stuff, if you will, though you won't because you're not even watching this at this point in time. But that is the end of episode 2 of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror, and I thank you once again for watching tonight, and I will see you next time with another movie review of some sort of horror movie somewhere anyways. But until then, remember, if you have yourself a daughter, try not to disappoint her by not showing up to her very, very lovely birthday party, because next time you might show up and everyone's gonna be dead. So to speak, anyways, stay scary, internet.